I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delving into Entangled Hearts, A Forbidden Journey of Love by Robert Crothers. Set against the backdrop of a quaint Massachusetts town, this narrative captures the essence of young love, the serendipity of chance encounters, and the unyielding strength of heartfelt emotions. Through the eyes of a narrator navigating the choppy waters of adolescence, we witness a story that defies convention and celebrates the timeless quest for identity and connection. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his lovely book. The links are below this interview. Robert, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
It's great to be with you, Logan. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
I love novels that are set in New England, so when I picked up your book, that was going for it. Plus, I love the story you told. Is the story your story, or somebody you knew, or an imagined love story? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's a true story. A little bit of fiction mixed in to make it a more compelling story, but it is actually true. So each chapter is a true story throughout that you've read.
Great. Let's give the folks at home an overview of what the story is about.
Well, the story is about when I started my junior high years and how rough it was for me to begin. Then went to got to the point where I had to straighten out a little bit, and I found a job working on a farm nearby. And the owner of that farm kind of helped me make it through, teaching me some things. You know, if what you do, you get rewarded for. And then from that, I went and worked in a grocery store. Typical for that period of time, most of us teenagers ended up working somewhere in a local food market, bagging groceries, stocking shelves to make our income so we could date. And it was there that I ran into the girl that interested me. And from there, we just kind of bounced around like teenagers do, and we went places and did things. And of course, we had our separation. And then there was a 4-year period in between. When I returned back from Vietnam, I had a hard time fitting in because everybody had changed. And I didn't think change would happen while I was gone, but it did. From there, I took a chance to go back and see if she was available, and found out from that point on she was available but wasn't available, and we kind of took a lot of chances in our lives, and we got back together, and things happened during our get together and travels out to the state of Arizona. My traveling with the military kind of interfered maybe. I was always being sent overseas. I was on a special aircraft that required us to be trained, and then the military put a 5-year put us in a category of staying at a base for 5 years because of the training. But my travels always took me to Thailand, and then from there the plane did its work throughout Laos, Cambodia, North Vietnam, and places like that. And then but basically that's what the story is. It goes from junior high all the way up to about age about 29, 30, about that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great memories. It must have been fun writing about this wonderful chapter in your life.
I had an excellent time writing about it, and laughing at some of the things and how immature I really was back then over things I shouldn't have been. But I guess I saw that, and probably many of us were pretty immature back then for the same reasons. I don't say so we moved on a little bit from that and had to grow up.
Exactly, exactly. Now, I don't know if I'll be spoiling the story, but can I ask you what happened to the girl? Did you guys wind up happily ever after, or did you go your separate ways at one point?
Well, I wish I could give you an answer to all that. Matter of fact, the book that I have going through Atticus right now, I just heard from the editor. She would like me to involve that person a little more in that book to find out what happened between us, just like you asked.
Gotcha. Good. Well, you got people wanting to know more. You've done your work as a writer, which is good. Always leave them wanting more. That's the adage of show business. That's for sure.
Oh, that's
Have you
good.
sent the book to the love interest in the story to let her see it or read it?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
No.
Just curious about that. Well, maybe
I
she'll
have
be
no.
picking it up on the bookstore one day and be like, wow, I recognize her. I recognize him. It's an
Yeah,
amazing
yeah,
story.
I can imagine that.
How important is the setting for you in the small Massachusetts town? I know it's what you know. I know
Right.
that's where you grew up, but it really does seem like part of the fabric and the heart of the story, something that does happen in little faraway New England towns.
Yeah, the setting was very important to me. I had to let people know when they read it that, this is what my life was like back then. And to be honest, it was everybody's life. It was sort of like that.
Yeah,
You know, it was not much difference, you know. Small town, neighboring towns were small,
yeah,
but we had a lot to do back then. And it's like you tell your kids when they're growing up, we had so much to do, but and you wonder, well, what do you do? So. And in a way, this is my legacy that I'm leaving everybody. You can read about me. This is what I did back
yeah,
then.
yeah,
So it's more like that.
yeah,
But so that's why I needed to keep that. Oh, he grew up in Abington. He visited Whitman. He visited Brockton. He did all
yeah.
these things. So
Exactly, exactly. And it did remind me of my adolescence as well. I worked in a little deli grocery store growing up, starting at age 14. And I'd work there, 14 hours a day on Sunday. I was the Sunday manager for $50 a day. Uh,
ugh,
and we still get together. The guys from the deli and I will get together once a year and have a beer and a talk. And all these years later, I don't know, 50 years later. So it's amazing. Those jobs are so, um, they make you who you
they
are
do.
today, those early
Yeah.
jobs. The boss who was the mentor, the customers who came in who were your friends, the girl who you were dying to walk through the door. All of that's great stuff.
Yes. As you said, it was the mentors. Yes, the people that you work for were your mentors. They taught you right from wrong
Yeah.
as well. I learned a lot about construction in my 2 years working on the farm because the farmer decided that he was going to add on to his store. And
Yeah.
so he just brought us in from the field, taught us how to make the cement, mix it, and laid the brick.
Exactly.
So and of course the joy of it all was we had all this farm equipment out there that we could drive at age 13 and 14, which really made it more fun. So
Exactly. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's the highlight of the day and the camaraderie of doing it and working hard and getting paid any sum of money seemed like a fortune to have cash in your pocket, instead
it
of scrounging for dimes so you can buy a popsicle at that age. So I
it
do
did.
remember those. My parents were older, so I was kind of raised in a different generation where I got sent out to work very, very young. And I don't regret it. I wish my kids had gone out at age 14 and worked because
Um,
it really does make the man or make the woman. Have you envisioned this as a film? I think it'd be such a sweet movie.
it's interesting that you asked that question. Yes, in the back of my mind, there are two chapters in that book that I really think would make an excellent movie, but one of them I think more so than the other, and that's the one where I tell you about where we fell in love and we
Hmm.
rode the train. I think that would make a great Christmas type
Yeah.
movie. The facility is, just phenomenal. From other things, maybe I love the beach scene that I wrote. What we did out going to the beach all the time, and how
Hmm.
we just sit there and watch the tide roll in and the tide roll out, and we simple things in life,
Yeah.
like that.
Oh,
Amusements.
And the cut of First Love. I mean, it's just amazing how much. I remember the first girl I fell in love with when I was working at a day camp, just saying her name to my friends was like magic, like, wow. It's the great feelings, great memories, great emotions, and the beach is absolutely a great setting. And the train, of course, just is a timeless romantic spot. And if that's where you fell in love, that's a
Yeah.
great scene.
Yeah, it was the most enjoyable. It was it was a place we used to go for Christmas.
Mm,
And I was brought there at a younger age, and I thought, well, someday I'm going to have to return here. Well, I returned, and I returned with the girl I was dating, and basically that set the mood. And from there, it was like, I realized that how much I was in love with her at that point
yeah.
in time.
Exactly. Wonderful. Great memories. Now, I see a couple of books behind you. I see Entangled Hearts, but I see others as well. So I got a feeling you've written more than this one.
Yeah, in my working life, I've had inventions and patents and things like that. And I thought, well, I'm going to try to see if I can get a Library of Congress thing. So
Hmm.
my first book I went out and did is a U.S. serviceman in the Vietnam era. And I described me going through basic training, coming home on leave, and then going overseas to the Philippines, to Vietnam, the aircraft, letters that I received from the people back here in the States, which is going through a modification right now, and it'll be coming out within the 6 months. Is from tarmac to the skies, and I'm going to talk about what they could say crew chiefs tales in Vietnam. So I
Hmm.
just talk about all us crew chiefs, what we did over there in Vietnam, so that they we did a lot.
Yeah,
So
I'm
there's a lot
sure.
of things that went on. The other book is the predecessor of the Entangled Hearts.
Hmm.
So it started the whole ball rolling right there.
Yeah.
And that book came out just not long ago, but then I had to go back and look at it, and Entangled Hearts came out of that.
Hmm.
Improvements. My writing got better, and I wanted to. I had a very good editor who kept sending things back to me and kept saying, "Well, what about this and what about that?" So
Right.
I'd go back in and redo it and then send it back to her, and she'd read it and say, "That's good, but now how about this? What do you think she would say? What about that?"
Right.
So I went back and redid that.
Every great writer needs a great editor, and you are a great writer. You've written a terrific book. It is called Entangled Hearts, A Forbidden Journey of Love by Robert Crothers. It is set in a beautiful New England town in Massachusetts, and the story captures the essence of young love and the serendipity of chance encounters. It's a wonderful book. It'll bring you back to a happier time, better time, the time when you were first falling in love. The book is like falling in love again, and it's highly recommended. Robert, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan. I appreciate the time and opportunity.
I appreciate your time. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.